What if I could show you with math why now is a better time to buy than 6 months ago when things were going crazy? I thought of a specific scenario, just kind of at random, grabbed one of the listings that I sold earlier this year, right at the pinnacle, the apex of the nastiness.
You suck, it's okay. Just suck the game faster. Don't be nasty.
I picked one of my listings from earlier this year and ran the math on what would happen if a buyer were to buy that house with today's prices, not the crazy price, not the $120,000 over list price that we sold it for, but what would that house sell for today with today's interest rates? And I was shocked at what I found. I wasn't shocked. I feel like I know this, but I think a lot of people say things like, real estate agents are always saying now's the best time to buy. First of all, most real estate agents, if you've not spent any time on this channel, most real estate agents can't find their butt with both hands. Now, I love my real estate agents. I are one. But to say real estate agents as a category, there's a lot of ground to be covered, pun intended, in that group. So the fact that real estate agents on the whole are boneheads should be no surprise. If you've spent any time on this channel, I'm pretty candid about my feeling towards realtors. If you ever want to get a real estate agent's goat, say realtor to their face and they'll probably like retch or throw up in their mouth a little bit. It is realtor, but nobody gives a shit besides realtors. Anyway, I love real estate agents. They're my people, but they're a fickle bunch. So I don't take offense when people say, you real estate agents always say the same thing. You're always saying now's a great time to buy. That's how you pay your bills. While some of that is true, that is not my philosophy on helping people. I want people to do what's best for them, irrespective of what it does for me. And because I just have that attitude, I have a value of attitude first with people. I sell enough houses to have a nice life. I've got plenty of savings. I do not need to sell a house for the next year. I can just chill with you people. I don't need you to buy a house.
Okay, just calm down.
That said, I was pretty surprised with what the math revealed. So I'm gonna break down two different properties that were listings of mine and the math therein. And I wanna see if you're as shocked as I was when I put this stuff together. Then we're gonna get into what are interest rates doing now, because they've actually changed since I put the math together, which makes it even more compelling of a story. And then finally, we'll close the loop on where we're at by jumping into the Selling North Dallas Real Estate Market Update tool. We got a lot to cover. Let's get to it. Okay, so just jumping right into it, what's better than one example? How about two examples? Before I get to the example that I just mentioned in the intro, I want to tell you about another listing that I did earlier this year. So very similar scenario. Through the good folks at calculator.net, we're going to show you this. So in this particular example, neighborhood here in Prosper, Texas, great house. The seller wanted $600,000 and we actually had an offer ready to go and they dragged their feet and it ended up not coming to fruition. But let's say like I was in the early stages with the seller. We had an offer on the table from an investor ready to rock. They're ready to pay the purchase price of $600,000. So at the time, this was, I think it was June of this year. At the time, the offer that we had in hand, all cash offer, was $600,000. So let's say in scenario one, the buyer was gonna pay $600,000, put 5% down, 30-year mortgage, and they were gonna finance at the current rate of 6.11%. That would mean their principal and interest payment would be $3457.85. We could buy this house today for $530,000. Let's say we're gonna put 5% down, 30-year conventional mortgage. Today's rates, 7.21%. Actually, we have an update on that, but more in just a little bit. The principal and interest payment on that would be $3,421. Let me ask you a question. Which payment would you rather pay? $3457 or $3421? With today's price and today's interest rate, it's actually $36 a month less with today's massive interest rate because of the inflated price that you would have paid if you bought it in June. Okay, I know you're excited. Hopefully this is helpful. Hit the subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. Turn on notifications. Hit the like button. As a token of my appreciation for hitting the like button, here's a picture of someone's mind being blown. Here's an example of a property that I sold in May of this year. We contracted it in April, sold it at the beginning of May, and I want to compare and contrast the opportunities that the buyers got that bought it from us in May and what that would look like in today's numbers if we were to buy it. So we sold it in May, list price $564. We ended up selling it for $685, and the buyers at the time, let's just say the interest rates at the time were 5.57. So I've gone to calculator.net, to their mortgage calculator, and I've plugged in the purchase price of $685,000. Let's say we put 5% down, or the buyers that bought it in May put 5% down on a 30-year loan. Interest rates at the time were 5.57. When we calculate that out, we're looking at a monthly principal and interest payment of $37.23. Now this doesn't calculate for escrow, taxes, insurance, HOA. We're just comparing side by side the principal and interest payments. So then I got curious, what would that home sell for today? Now that prices have come down a little bit, interest rates have gone up, I think a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines right now because they're afraid of overspending. So let's run that scenario out. So I went back and I comped the house. Today, it would sell for, based on sold data, recent sold data, $565,000. So let's say that is our purchase price. We'll put 5% down, 30-year mortgage. Only in today's rates, or actually rates from a couple of days ago because they've changed again. We'll get to that in a second. Today's rate's 7.2%. So when we calculate that payment, the monthly principal and interest payment is $36.43. So let me ask you a question. Which payment would you rather make? $37.23 or $36.43? If you're having trouble, pick the little number. That's a difference. In today's rate, with today's prices, that's $80 a month less than what the opportunity that the buyers got in May. Now, the Fed announced they anticipate that rates will be back in the 4s in 2023. Well, let's say it's not that good, right? Let's compare a third scenario. Let's say you go ahead and buy this house today, right? With the numbers we show, 565, 5% down, 7.2% interest. And in 12 months, rates drop 2 points to 5.2%. So you've been making payments on the home over the last 12 months. So your principal value has dropped a little bit. Let's see what the scenario looks like with the new rate. So over here, we've got our home price of $531 because we've been making payments over the last 12 months. This is based on the amortization schedule. There's no down payment because you're simply refinancing. And we're going to refinance for a 30-year term at 5.2%. The new principal and interest payment drops to $29.18. That's a difference of $725. So you've just freed up $725 a month. What do you do with the money?
Let's go to Vegas.
Don't say go to Vegas. Don't go on vacation with that. Instead, you're already used to spending that money. Instead of spending it on a mortgage, let's save that money, right? Let's invest it. So I've pulled up through the folks at investmentcalculator.net. I pulled up their investment calculator. If we jump on Google and say, what has the S&P averaged? 11.88% since its inception. Well, let's say it's not that good. Let's say it's 10%. If we plug in a 10% rate of return, compounded annually, $725 a month, that's $1.5 million in 30 years. You've got a paid for house in Prosper, Texas, and an additional $1.5 million in your S&P 500 account. Well, Jono, the inflation rates have been crazy. You're not factoring for inflation. Okay, inflation has averaged 4%. So let's take, let's say it's not 10%. Let's say it's 8%, but let's drop another 4 because of inflation. Let's say you only got a 4% rate of return on that money. You still have $500,000 left and a paid for house in Prosper, Texas.
I'll make that deal.
I've teased this a couple of times in the video. Where are interest rates today? Well, we just had a drop. Today, we're sitting at 6.62 on the 30-year conventional tip, 6.2 for 30-year FHA, 6.25 for 30-year VA. Are rates gonna stay low? Man, I don't know. We keep getting this wrong. My crystal ball is broken. Today, this is where they're at today. So what does the Selling North Dallas Real Estate Market Update tool have to say? Median days on market. Man, it's just flattened out since the end of September. Still 42. Let's see what else. Price decreases are flattening out. We've been since about the end of September, right around 52.7, 52.5, holding steady there. Slight dip in inventory, but I mean, this is still fairly erratic. Again, when you're looking at this stuff week by week, there's typically not going to be these massive changes. And when we see things that are erratic, there's a lot of factors that play into that. So probably not too much to take a look at. So if you don't have a copy of this tool yet and you would like one, then down in the description, there's a link. We'll get the tool in your hand. You can manipulate it to your heart's content. Guys, here's the deal. Nobody's got a crystal ball. It's either time for you to move or it's not time for you to move. If you're not sure and you want some help, down in the description, there's a link. If you'll click on that, fill it out. Let's jump on the phone together and let's talk through your specific scenario. Come here, buddy. Let's tell all the nice people. Hey, can you sit? Good boy, shake. Oh, he's sleepy. Somebody's been having a nap. Drop in the link. Me and Boulder will reach out to you. Let's talk through what you're looking at, and we'll just rap about it just a little bit. What do you say, buddy? All right. Until next time.
Bye, Felicia.